Water. It's literally everywhere, right? We drink it, we swim in it, we depend on it every single day. But its commonness hides a truly amazing secret. So today, we're going to break down the science of what makes this simple molecule the absolute foundation for all life as we know it. So let's just dive right into the big question. What actually makes water the most important molecule in the entire universe? I'll give you a hint. The answer goes way beyond it just being wet. You see, water is kind of a chemical oddball, and its strange properties are the very reason we're all here. And its importance is just staggering when you look at the scale. Take this number, 70%. That's not just how much of our planet's surface is covered in water. It's also, amazingly, about the same percentage of water that makes up your own body. We are basically walking, talking oceans. And that really brings us to our first big idea here. Because for something so incredibly common, water behaves in ways that are, well, they're anything but normal. It's truly one of Earth's oddest and most vital molecules. You know, everything that makes water so essential for life, its power to control our climate, to dissolve nutrients, even its ability to defy gravity, it all comes down to its unique molecular structure. So let's peel back the layers and see what's really going on inside. So it turns out water has this hidden superpower. It's called polarity. And this one single characteristic is like the source code for almost everything else that makes water so special. It's the key that unlocks all of its other incredible abilities. So what exactly is a polar molecule? Well, it's all about sharing. Or more accurately, not sharing equally. Inside a water molecule, the electrons aren't spread out evenly. This creates two distinct ends. Think of it like a tiny, tiny magnet with a positive pole and a negative pole. Here's a closer look at how it works. The big oxygen atom is kind of an electron hog. It pulls them closer, which makes its side of the molecule slightly negative. And that leaves the two little hydrogen atoms with a slightly positive charge. That's it. A positive side and a negative side. This simple fact explains, well, pretty much everything. And the very first major result of this polarity is stickiness. Yep, stickiness. Because those positive and negative ends are attracted to each other, water molecules just love to stick together. Now, this attraction that water molecules have for each other has a name, cohesion. It's just water sticking to itself. And this collective pulling force is incredibly strong. It creates a phenomenon you've seen 1,000 times, surface tension. I mean, think about it. When you see those perfect little beads of water on a leaf, that's cohesion. When a water strider just skates across a pond without sinking, it's literally walking on that tight web of cohesive molecules. Even that classic science experiment of seeing how many drops you can pile onto a penny, that's a perfect demonstration of this powerful stickiness. But here's the thing, water doesn't just stick to itself. It's also attracted to other things, especially other polar substances. And this property is called adhesion. So, to keep it simple, cohesion is water to water, and adhesion is water to something else. You see adhesion all the time, like when water seems to crawl up the sides of a glass, almost defying gravity. Or when you use a paper towel to clean up a spill, the water molecules are literally grabbing onto the fibers of the paper, pulling the liquid right in. That's adhesion at work. Okay, so what happens when you put adhesion and cohesion together? You get something truly amazing. Capillary action. It's like teamwork. First, adhesion makes water molecules stick to the sides of a thin tube like a plant stem. Then, cohesion kicks in, and those molecules start pulling their friends up from below. This is exactly how plants are able to get water from their deep roots all the way up to their highest leaves. It's a beautiful system. All right, let's zoom out. We've been looking at the tiny molecular level, but now let's look at the entire planet. Because these exact same properties make water an incredible global thermostat, regulating temperatures all across the world. This is all because of a property called high specific heat. Now, in simple terms, this just means water is incredibly stubborn when it comes to changing its temperature. It has to absorb a ton of heat to warm up, and it has to lose a ton of heat to cool down. It's extremely stable. Now think about what this means on a global scale. Our oceans act like a giant thermal battery for the planet. They soak up huge amounts of heat from the sun during the day and in the summer, and then they release it slowly at night and in the winter. This process stabilizes our entire planet's climate. It's the reason coastal areas often have much more moderate temperatures. But water has another temperature-related trick up its sleeve, and this one breaks a fundamental rule that most other substances follow. See, as things get colder, they're supposed to get denser and sink. So why on earth does ice float? Well, the answer is just fascinating. In liquid water, the molecules are all jumbled up, moving around and staying close together. But as they freeze, those polar bonds lock them into place, forming this rigid, open crystal structure. They actually spread farther apart. And this expansion is what makes solid ice less dense than liquid water, an incredibly rare and important property. The consequence of this is just massive for life on Earth. Ice forms a protective, insulating layer on top of lakes and oceans. This keeps the liquid water below from freezing, allowing fish and all sorts of aquatic life to survive the cold winter. I mean, if ice sank, our lakes and rivers would freeze solid from the bottom up, and life within them would be impossible. And this brings us to our final and maybe most important section. All of these strange properties we've talked about, the polarity, the stickiness, the temperature stability, the floating ice, they aren't just cool chemical quirks. They are the essential blueprint for life itself. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It's not an exaggeration in the slightest. Every single living thing is a finely tuned machine that has evolved specifically to take advantage of water's bizarre and wonderful chemistry. And this applies directly to you. Inside your body, right this second, water is acting as the universal solvent, dissolving nutrients in your blood so they can get where they need to go. It's using its high specific heat to keep your body temperature stable. It's the stage where countless essential chemical reactions happen, and it literally fills your cells, giving them their shape and structure. So in the end, you see, water isn't just some passive background substance for life. It's an active, essential participant with a set of properties so perfectly tuned it almost feels like magic. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. How fundamentally different would our world and our lives be if water just followed the rules? What if ice actually sank?